Okay, let's start. So if you go here in your Fortnite folder, then your weapons folder, and you search up signal, you can see we have all the different kind of types of signals. Signal remote A, B, C, and D. But don't be fooled. They're just your common, legendary, and epic rare. I've already placed the 5 of them here. They do take a slot in your inventory, so just be wary of that. To make them actually do anything, we need to use a signal remote manager. And you can get that by going into your Fortnite and then devices folder. You can see signal remote manager. So I'm just going to drag that out. All right, so this thing is going to help us configure our signal remote. So in here, we have a couple options. First is the cooldown time. By default, anytime you press your signal remote, there's going to be a period where you cannot press it again. That's the cooldown time. You can control it there. By default, set to 3. Enable that game start. Just leave that there. Otherwise, your signal remote's not going to work unless you call enable on it. And then we have the signal remote tier, which is where you can choose which specific remote you want to target. In my case, I'm going to do common, and you can see that turns gray. So this, whatever functions I bind on this, that's going to affect the gray one. So how do we actually bind functions is in here, you can see there's 2 events. First, your primary action and your secondary fire. So your primary action is on PC, it's your left click, and on console, I believe it's your right trigger. And your secondary fire on PC, it's your right click, or basically your aim down sight. So we're done setting up there. The example I'm going to use here is I'm going to make this character do to play an emote. If I go down here, you can see there's a play emote function. We can call that by adding an element. I'm going to search for my signal remote here. Make sure it's this one, or you can also pick the eyedropper and just click this. And then interactions here, you want to click on primary action. I'm going to have my left click play the emote. Now for the example, I'm also going to hide this character on my secondary fire, which is this turn off visibility. If I go here, I can go into the signal remote again. So signal remote manager. And I can bind the secondary fire. So you can see how with a single signal remote, we can have 2 different functions, the left click and your right click. All right, so I'm in my game. If I start game, I have spawners here. So if I just pick them up, there we go. I have all legendary and all colors of the rainbow, Skittles. So if I press my legendary, you can see nothing happens. I'm pressing. But if I press my common, which I've set up to do this, you can see it starts emote. And there you can see the cooldown timer. So I can press left click, press right click. You can see he goes away. Okay, first I'm up here into Verse Explorer, and I'm just going to create a new device. First, we need a reference to our actual signal remote manager, the actual thing that we want to configure. So I'm going to do add editable to signal, and the type for this editable is your signal underscore remote underscore manager underscore device, like that. And then we can just copy paste this like so, and just initialize this with the curly braces. Okay, so we have access to our signal remote manager. So as per request, I'm gonna make this signal remote manager make our player invisible. The way we do that is we're gonna create 2 functions: execute anytime we press either button. So I'm gonna create the first one. So handle primary button. Just call this whatever. My case, I'm just gonna call this P, but it has to be of type void equals, and then I'm just gonna do call the logic to make a player invisible. Okay, so using /fortnite.com/characters up here. Okay, and then down here like that, and I'm just gonna make a secondary one which just shows my player again. So just handle secondary button, because remember our signal remote has 2 buttons, so we can bind 2 actions to a single remote. So I'm gonna do P just agent. I'm gonna skip over this and then this should just be f.show. Okay, so that's just the code I'm using. You can put whatever you want here, but that's just what I'm going to be using. Now to actually get access to our events, we're going to go into signal remote gray, so this thing up here, and then we're going to do .primary signal event .subscribe, and then you pass in whatever function you want. In my case, it's the handle primary function, but remember it has to have this agent parameter here. So I'm going to pass in handle primary but parentheses. Now we can do the same with our signal remote gray secondary signal event, and we just do the same, subscribe, and pass in a function that you want to call. In my case, handle secondary but. That's all there is to it. So let's go back into UEFN. All right, so we're back in UEFN. First, go up here, build verse code. That's cool. Go into your content drawer, press Control Space in your content here. Creative devices, find your creative device. I called it remote signal device. So bring that out. You can see my signal remote gray. I'm going to choose the only one, the chosen one, and just pass it there. That way we get the proper reference. So now it can push changes. All right, let's in. So let's collect our loot. As you can see, gold one, they all don't do anything. But if I press a gray one, left click. Oh my god, I've disappeared. Help us all. Don't worry, just press the right click. And we're back. And of course, we still have the event bound here to this character, so he shows up. But like I said, you can basically do whatever you want inside of the function. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you want to add separate functionality for every single remote, you would need a separate remote manager for each one. And then you would select the correct. A is your green, B is your blue, C is your purple, your epic, and then D would be your legendary / gold rarity. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. And yeah.